Hi, this is Jose Barato from PM People. I'm glad to share our new feature related to procurement, project management procurement, in the field of payments and invoices management. We think we have something good here for the community of project professionals. So let me introduce, and we are more than happy to have your feedback on this. So let me explain first what is this project procurement management thing. This is a knowledge area. We project professionals know about this, but we need to share this knowledge with the rest of the organization. So in order to introduce this a little, the thing with procurement is that if I am the project manager of project 1 and I decompose this until I have these work packages, sometimes these several work packages are better if we outsource these packages outside to a third-party company, right? And well, for many reasons, in the make or buy decision, sometimes it's better to buy, right? So if this is the case, we manage differently. We have another player here, which is the contractor, and they are doing this work package as a project. So we have a technical relationship, management technical relationship, which is a procurement thing, and we know many things about this, but the real challenge is that we have a legal relationship. If this is bad, we go to court. Okay, a judge need to solve our issues, right? So we are so paranoid when some part of our project is outside, and well, we have the thing with claims administration, documentation, contracts, etc., etc. So this is the new normal. Normally, you don't do all the project in your organization, and more and more we are seeing this behavior, these relationships in between projects. And you can imagine that a chain here. Okay, this project 2 can outsource another work package, etc., etc. Right? So, and this is also common not only when there are different organizations, client and contractor, but in that case we have a contract, and this is serious. But sometimes we do this procurement management between the same organization. Okay, inside the business unit we have two projects related this way. Okay, as a client contractor way. Even if we are in the same business unit, we have this kind of agreements, right? So this is the thing. Okay, I am not extending myself here, but well, this is special. This is prone to conflict, to issues, and this is sometimes a nightmare to managers. They are aware of projects, so they have many things to manage. Okay, they are not supposed to be professional managers, project managers, but okay, this functional manager has many things, many operations to do, but also projects. So they are learning to trust us, project professionals, because there is so much at stake, and they cannot afford these projects not meeting the goals, not meeting not delivering the value, and being late. They lose business if these projects are not on time, on budget, etc. Right? So they are more and more interested in managing this professionally. So they need us. They need project professionals so that we can report. We can be accountable of this project 1, project 2. They know some things. Okay, they know that maybe our project is predictive, or other project is agile, or maybe this is hybrid life cycle there. They know that sometimes projects are better if we manage as a whole into a program, or strategically inside a portfolio, and other professionals should be there reporting and being accountable, right? So the thing with procurement is special because they are very focused on finance, and they need to manage payments to contractors. In the other way, maybe they are serving these projects to another clients, right? So they need to manage invoices, And this is not, when you pay inside a project, it's not like buying materials. Okay, this is special because projects are not one payment, and well, many things can happen to projects, right? The thing is that we have in our tool, PM People, we have a new feature that I think this is very useful for us. So our role here is that we can help these functional managers. They don't need to manage the payment events of projects. We know better that this milestone is met, so we can invoice this part of the project. Or this contractor has filled the requirements, so we can pay him or his organization, right? So normally this is a nightmare because this is not one thing. Okay, maybe the milestone is not on time, maybe the scope is not delivered, maybe we have a back and forth thing and technical discussions there, and well, they have a lot of interest in doing this properly because they are interested in finance, and well, they need to know if they need to pay or they need to invoice, or the amount is correct, or we need to negotiate or have some issues in the contract, right? So we can help good here. We are here in the middle doing our job as a professional project managers. We have this layer here, distinctive from the real work that well, the task, the technical task, the team members are doing every day, right? These guys with the governance need somebody in the middle to report from time to time in project status reviews how the things are going before it's too late, because well, otherwise the project is not on time, on budget, and doesn't deliver the value, right? So here we can also do our job relating to payments, related to invoices. Okay, so that's our point here. So well, we are convinced that a professional should manage the project profit and loss, okay, like an accounting thing. If we sell a project to a client, we need to know how much is going to be billed at the end. Okay, maybe this is the budget we need to invoice total to a customer, and we need to control that the benefit is this and not less. So we need to know this picture, this chapter of expenses, reserves, cost, etc., etc. If we talk about invoices or payments here, for instance, maybe in this 250k euro, we need to pay to a contractor, okay, which is a kind of expense here. We need to know when and what needs to be done in order to pay. So this is a plan, okay? We need to plan these payments, okay? There should be events that we need to plan. We need to know beforehand, right? And regarding to cost, okay, we have some time and materials to contract there. Again, we have some events of payments there, okay? So we need to control that this is on time, on the right amount, and well, we are not going to pay, but we can tell the finance department or the accountant department that in this project we need to pay this contractor. And this is important because there is a lot of issues here. If we don't pay on time, maybe the contractor is upset and they delay work until we pay, and this is why the next payment is not done on time, but maybe it's our fault and not theirs. So there is a lot of issues that maybe are taking us to court, okay, in the extreme. So the good way of managing is be proactive, and we can do many things with the right technology here. So this is one thing, the payments, and the other thing is the invoices. Okay, if we are invoicing to a customer until a total of 1 million, maybe I need to know when I need to invoice. Again, I need to talk with the accounting department and tell them that, okay, we met this milestone we have the right to invoice the next amount and these kind of things. So our point is that this is better if we as professionals do this, because we know everything in our project. Okay, we are there to do that. Okay, so in our implementation, our first design decision is that this is not a separate thing. Okay, we need an object, a technical object, which is called a payment invoice. And well, in our implementation, you don't need to know everything, but you need to know that this object has some states. A payment or invoice can be planned by one of the parties, can be proposed. This proposal could be approved or rejected. When they have the right to be paid, they can claim this payment. The other part could approve or reject again. We can, as client, we can say yes to pay and start the process to pay. And finally, the final state is that this is paid. This is paid finally, right? So there is a lot of issues here. This is complicated. We can show a summary of that in a minute. So we have an object mixing the two parts of the same coin, payment and invoice. The other thing is that we need to have a log. If we systematically register every timestamp, every event of this payment or invoiced events, we think that this is maybe this is easy if we do this on time when the things happen, and maybe we do the right thing. In the contrary, if we don't do this, if we don't care about payments or invoices, and things are complicated later on, maybe we have this is a nightmare, and we need to research what happens, and maybe we were there but we don't recall everything. So technology is good that as a support. Okay, so imagine that this very simple project. In these dates, we have these three payments planned. I have subcontracted a contractor, and I plan to pay 100, 200 in these dates. You got it? In 600 total in a period of 3 months, right? So this is the plan. And in projects, this is not simple. This is not like buying materials, because many things could happen. Maybe at the end, we didn't pay this 200. We paid this 250 for a reason. Okay, things happens in projects. Maybe the scope has changed, and we have a change request, and we decided to pay more. Or this was not finished on time. We finished late, and we need to know when this was due, this date, but actual payment was different, right? So this is only an example. We can elaborate better later on, right? So in our implementation, PM people is meaning people collaboration on project management. So this is not payments and invoices. This is not a thing of one person only. Everybody should be engaged here with different incentives. The functional manager has a financial interest, a financial incentive. The PMO has a methodological interest. The project manager assistant maybe help management of invoices. They can do anything that a project manager can do. And if this project is inside a program or a portfolio, this could help management again. So this is not one person thing. And in our implementation, we think we have covered all the possible cases here. Maybe people are using the tool in this use case. Maybe the client is only using the procurement feature, and they can control the payments when they are paid, when they are planned, when they are due, and when finally are paid. This is one use. I think many customers of PM people are using this in this way, in this case. Maybe the two projects are there in the tool, one project as a client, one project as a contractor, but they are not connected, they are disconnected. Again, we can record everything and say, well, in case of any controversy, we can help with the log, and well, many things could happen, but there is a support, technological support, right? Also, they can be a connection. Okay, this project is connected with this project. And we have this from a long time ago in the tool. This is the procurement functionality we had, and now this can manage the payments that they are planned to pay, and in the other hand, this contractor has the invoices they are going to plan to have or to invoice, but this client can see this information, but not the other way around. So this is the one way use case. The client can see his information, but also the information coming from the contractor, right? The contractor cannot see the information on the client side. Maybe this is a protective way of using the tool. But, well, our proposition here, our solution, big solution for this nightmare is that, well, total visibility here. This way we can be proactive. These two ways can see the contractor information and the contractor can see the client information. Information is essential here, and maybe I planned 200, but I plan to 50. So people can talk, okay? People need to collaborate in project management, and this is essential. And I don't need to wait for the invoice to have this done, okay? This is ineffective, and well, projects are suffering from these things, so these issues, right? So this is a two-way relationship, okay? So we have elaborated some states, transitions here, but you need to know that everything is covered here, okay? So if no contractor is using the tool here, the client only, normally they are using these two states. The payment can be planned, and the project manager can say, okay, this need to be paid. Okay, the payment is ordered. That's it. Okay, we are not using the 10 states, only 2. In the other way, in the disconnected way, we have these two parts using the tool separately. Okay, well, they decide how to behave. Okay, we don't oblige anyone, right? So again, it is very meaningful if they distinguish these states. In the other part, the contractor can say, okay, this is planned and this is paid, and well, everyone is going to see his information, not the other. Okay, we have separated records, but we can, in case of controversies, we can support with the log. Okay, everything is there, not in the minds of people, or not annotated. Okay, everything is persistent, right? In the one-way case, we have these transitions. Maybe they start this way. Maybe well, they have many cases there. I am not going to explain that, but you need to know that in this case, again, this client can see the states and the transitions on the part of the contractor, but not the other way. Okay, the contractor cannot see. This client says, okay, I don't want to share my information of payments. Okay, this is my own management, right? And in the two-way, we have the other cases. So you need to explain this because this is complicated. Let's set an example here. Imagine that we have this project planned as this, and well, the two parts are using the tool openly, and we have this situation. Okay, the first invoice is maybe is finally paid. Okay, so let's see with the states. So I am the client. I can plan these 3 payment events. I am the contractor. I can plan these invoicing events. Okay, and I can change as a contractor. I can change to proposed, and I can know if this client is checking in the tool. We have implemented this kind of feedback. This can check. Okay, you need to know that I am aware of this, or I have not. This is a checkbox, and that's it. So maybe this is 100 and 200, 300, and everything is okay, right? So if I am okay, I can approve every payment, right? So imagine that this is the situation for the first payment. I can approve the 100. Later on, when the thing is done in the project, the contractor can claim this payment. Maybe this is only information, but well, maybe the bill, the invoice has come in paper. I don't know. Okay, this is not our point as a project managers. Okay, technically, I have the right to be paid. My company has the right to be paid because we have met the milestone, right? So this is the claim state. Everybody can tell, okay, this is done or not. Okay, if I, as a client, I am okay with this, I can approve this claiming, and later on, maybe when the company receives formally the invoice, I can say, okay, this can be paid. So this is our point in the tool. Okay, as a professionals, we can do this. We don't need somebody in the accounting department to do this by themselves. I know the information. I know better what's happening in my project. Okay, in the both sides. So if this is in a system, everybody in the company can see, but they can delegate a lot of operations there and go to the essential parts, not the non-value things. So I think we can do a lot of service if we are doing this by ourselves as project professionals. And finally, when the payment is done, in this case, because this is a green transition, they can move this from payment order to paid, and everybody can tell that this is finally money in the bank. This guy is not having the access to the to the banking account in the company, but they know if this is paid, yes or no, right? We know everything. So well, let's do some more complicated here. Okay, imagine that this is finally paid this date as due, but with different amount. So let's complicate this example a little. So imagine that well, we have in this point as the previous explanation, but okay, they have changed this. We agreed on 200, but the contractor has saying, okay, this is not costing 200. You know why? Okay, we have talked about this, and I can change this invoice to 250. Okay, as a client, I can say no. The state now is proposal rejected. Okay, I can say, okay, let's go 200. You are right. So I can approve there. Imagine that we can have a loop there. Okay, back and forth, and well, these guys know better what's happening there. Behind them, there is a lot of information, a lot of colleagues following the project and having good information. But we represent the information as a project professionals, right? Okay. So next state, this is finally done, but I need to change again because at the end I was right. This was not the scope. It was more. You want it, and this accepted. This is 250 again. So maybe I can reject. Maybe again I convince the client, and this is 250. Okay, I can approve. So again, another state, but you know the things that happens in projects. Okay, this is not like buying materials. Okay, this is more complicated. Okay, because maybe many things happen in projects, and the human factor is there, and the interpretation of events and facts, and many things happen in projects, right? And maybe this is not 100, maybe this is 2K or 200K, right? You got it? So this is serious, and well, if you're not doing right on the right time, maybe we have a lot of problems in the project, and at the end is a lose-lose situation for everybody, right? So do this proactively, collaborate in project management with the right technology. This is our point, right? So finally, we can say yes, the invoice can be paid, and well, the corresponding department is going to pay finally, right? And finally, the other part, I say yes, the money is in the bank. So maybe this is a complicated back and forth, but it could be even more complicated. And finally, we have another change here with the third invoice that is not paid in the due date, but so in the log, I need to know when this was due, what happens, what changes happened during the life cycle of the payment invoice object, and finally this was done. Sometimes one party is not registering the information, but no problem with that. If the information is happening, if facts are there, the one who knows in the two-way relationship can proactively change to the right state. So in this case, the contractor is doing the job. So imagine the first initial point, and now client is not approving, but okay, anyway, I can claim that this needs to be paid. Okay, I proposed, you said nothing, so I understand that you are okay. Okay, and I claim to be paid now because I met the milestone or whatever the condition is, right? So finally, or maybe I change here, okay, the due date change to middle of April, okay, and finally this is paid, and again, no payment order to pay, nothing from this guy. This is a lazy project manager, but anyway, I cannot be blocked here. Normally in these processes you see a lot of bottlenecks, a lot of single point of stop the process, and I think if this is two-way relationship, when anyone has their information, if this is true, they can update the information, right? So this guy is seeing that, okay, this is paid. I knew that, but I didn't use the tool to accept or order the payment or whatever. Anyway, so this is only an example, okay? In another videos, maybe we are going to the tool and see this in the tool, but there is a lot of concepts here, and maybe you have some feedback or some comments or suggestions. Okay, we are an open tool, and we are very happy to change if this is value for the community, right? Okay, thank you.